and welcome to our Morning Throners podcast. I'm Nelson.
I'm Jeff.
And I'm Kyle, and we're the fucking Morning Throners.
And welcome back to another episode of your favorite Song of Ice and Fire podcast. We are your Morning Throners.
Yeah.
We got Sansa 8 on deck. Good, quick chapter.
Lot of names. Some new names.
Nelson loves these chapters.
Some ship names.
Almost a bottle chapter, right? Just all in one room, essentially.
Yep, pretty much, except for the very end. Yeah.
This chapter in real time would have taken longer than us to read, podcast, publish, edit. Sounds like they were in this throne room for a long time.
People were getting fidgety, yeah. But yeah, so we're all in the throne room. Basically, the whole thing, like where we left off with Sansa last time, right, was Dantos runs in the end of the Blackwater, right, after the Hound had left, and he's like, everything's great. The banners, oh, Jonquil, you should have seen it. What it would be like to be a knight again. We won.
The beautiful colors have saved us.
And I think you were saying at the end of that, Kyle, was like, wait a minute, like, what the hell happened? Like, there's a lot of questions, and they don't really go through and, like, really clarify, like, okay, here's what happened. You just kind of get, like, it's like, again, like, from Sansa's perspective here, we're hearing, like, what each person did, but you can kind of piece it together.
Well, we just had that Arya chapter. Didn't they go through it?
The Arya chapter?
Yeah, I feel like somebody was talking about it, the Arya chapter.
We found out that Tywin was in...
That he got that with the Tyrells.
Yeah, Tywin, the Tyrells, the
Yep.
Florence, the Apple Rare... Fossilways.
Fossilways.
Right? I feel like that was that. Maybe I'm combining the two chapters in my head now.
Yeah, I think you are. It was definitely that Tywin ganged
one
up
and
with
had all the might of high
with the
guard
Tyrells.
or type thing is I think what they probably said in the other one, because I don't know how they would know. I mean, I don't know if they know about that they won, they got a raven about something. So
Right.
But yeah, so it starts off with like who we got in the court basically the entire time, and it's like the usual suspects. Jalabar Zoe, been a while since we heard him, but he's the Southern Islander who basically is just like always asking for money, and they never give it to him, but they never kick him out either, which is why he's like dressed differently, because he's like from a different place. He's wearing like this cloak of feathers.
Feathers.
It's like a bird.
It looks like he's about to fly away.
High Septon number 2. We don't know his name, but High Septon number 1 got his head smashed to bits during the riot after Marcella left. So this is High Septon number 2. He's there, got a cool crown on. We got Cersei, Varys. They're there at the small council table. Moonboy and Dantos, fresh get-ups. Again, it's like gesture get-ups, but fresh get-ups.
Everybody's got their Sunday best on. Yeah,
man, they just fucking won. Right? They're all pumped. Celebration.
Yeah. Again, it's like kind of funny to remember where we saw some of these people last time too, right? Like Lancel, we'll talk about later. Like he's got an injury, pretty bad. We saw that very firsthand last time. Cersei literally wasn't helping the matter.
Right, I forgot that
She
Cersei gave him
right?
a jab to his arm, and now he might lose his arm
or die.
Yeah, he's like pissed. Yeah.
And here we have Lady Tanda and Felice and Lollies, right? So, and last time we saw them, again, they were in the room with Cersei and Sansa, but Sansa ran into them on the way into the room, right? Like Lollies was like, fuck no, I'm not even crossing this drawbridge. And now they're like you said, they're in their Sunday best. They're all matching gowns. Everyone's looking fine. Giles Rosby, he's coughing still, but he's always coughing. So what can you expect?
He's got a nice
but he's coughing into a fancy ass gold handkerchief. Yeah.
And then we get our first entrance, big fancy entrance.
Dun, 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 brr, 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 here comes Mr. Tywin Lannister on his horse, dressed in some dope armor.
I think this is the exact same description of the armor that Tyrion gives when he's on the Battle of the Green Fork, which makes sense. You wouldn't have two like $1 million suits of armor. I mean, maybe you do if you're Tywin.
I mean, if you poop gold, you might.
Yeah. It's funny too because his horse is in this fancy armor, and when he comes up and dismounts, his horse takes a big old shit right at the base of the throne.
Well, sometimes you gotta poop. What can you do?
Is it that? It's got to be like some symbolism, right? Like the Lannisters are just like shitting on, the throne or shitting on.
I mean, maybe you could read that into it, and George wrote that there, so maybe. But like, I mean, a horse is just shit everywhere, right? Like that's pretty.
I think it's something like a. What is it? A metaphor?
Yeah.
Like, oh, we're dressed up so nice and fancy, but hey, we poop too.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me like, don't think your shit don't
stink. We're still
we're
still human. We poop too. So Tywin comes in and Joffrey like welcomes him and ends up making him hand, right? And really kind of king consort, I guess. I don't know what the title would be. Yeah. King Regent? Would be
He's the
King
hand.
Regent?
He's the hand. He gave him the necklace to the hand.
Sure, but it said like it was like you're basically.
Well, he's gonna rule until he's old enough. So yeah, it's essentially taking over Cersei's job. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought they said king in the one thing.
Because this is what like Ned was supposed to do.
Whatever.
Right?
It's not that big of a deal. But yeah, he ends up being in the hand. Correct.
Yeah.
Governance of the realm, and Lord Tywin solemnly accepted the responsibility.
Governance of the realm.
Anyway,
yeah.
what were you saying, Nelson?
Like, I think, like, when Robert's dying, right, like, I mean, Cersei rips up the letter, so it doesn't end up meaning anything, but, like, the letter that Robert, like, has Ned write, it says, like, yeah, you'll rule the realm until my son comes of age. So I think it's, like, Tywin is, like, doing that now. And I think you're also right, Kyle. Technically, Cersei probably was filling this role until now. Because, like, she wasn't giving it fully to Tyrion.
I mean, Tyrion and Cersei
they were sharing
Queen
it,
Regent.
Yeah.
Well, this is the first I noticed. I'm like, well, wait, where's Tyrion, you know?
Yeah.
We get a little mention of him soon.
Yeah, later on. Not doing so hot, but...
He's not in the river anymore. Which is
Yeah.
doing better than he is last time we saw him.
Was he in the water? I don't remember.
He was on a boat, on one of the boats on the bridge.
The boat. Yeah. And
that's not where you want to be.
Pod
saved
him, right?
Yep.
Big dick Pod.
So yeah, he gets the cool hand chain around his neck, and I think he just goes and sits down at the council table, right?
Yep. And we keep on going with the thanks, and here comes the whole Tyrell family. Not the whole Tyrell family, but
Enough of them.
A lot of them.
Mace, Loras, and Garland. Yep.
Garland, the what?
Less famous.
The gallant.
He's gallant though, and Joffrey basically like, oh, thank you so much. I'm gonna give you a boon.
Yeah, well, before the whole boon thing, which is clearly staged, right? He gives them this like necklace of roses with like a gold disc with a ruby lion in it, and he's like, the rose supports the lion as the High Garden supports the realm. Like it's like some, but yeah, this whole thing is so staged. Sansa even says like she knew what was coming next. Like this was clearly staged.
I just want to nail this home every time. He's a fucking Baratheon. His last name is Baratheon. That shit pisses me off so much.
Yeah, like later there's a huge outburst where they're like they have someone killed for him claiming to be like for this guy like claiming that Joffrey's a bastard, and like to your point, he is not trying to like hide the fact that he is like.
I will say the only thing that like there's no more Baratheons left, right?
Stannis is still alive.
Oh yeah, Stannis. My bad. But I meant like in the castle, like in his family here supporting him.
Right.
There's not a single Baratheon. And
to that point, like maybe that's why he isn't using the Baratheon, is because like his main enemy is using. Well, I mean, he's not though. Stannis isn't though.
Well,
Stannis is using the fiery heart.
Something on, right?
Yeah, when he changed
the stags on
when
it.
he went to war, he had the stag as a sigil.
Yeah. It's weird. Quarter it or something.
What
right?
I would say is that they're like testing or slowly, dispersing this Lannister out there, and then like eventually it'll just be like, yeah, whatever.
People will forget that he was a Baratheon.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's like they're conditioning people to accept that, like little bits at a time. This isn't the beginning.
It's working on us. It's not working on Jeff.
No common person has been like, why is this guy wearing his mom's color so much? Like, I don't know. It'd be like, what if Rob just like kept showing up in like Tully shit? Like, that's even weird.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if like his whole family was dead and he was staying and the Tullys were all helping him.
Yeah. I mean, it's at least eyebrow raising. Like, why the fuck is he doing that? But whatever.
This was the first weird thing to me because I thought Loras and Joffrey did not really get along too well. Like, right?
Well, Loras was a Kingsguard person for Renly.
I don't know how they would know each other.
Wasn't
but yeah, I don't.
Loras like in the tournament,
he was
right?
in the tournament, yep.
Right.
Yeah, and like Sansa loved him, and like he was pretty popular for being real handsome. So I think Joffrey was jealous of him. I feel like I remember that happening.
I gotcha. I don't remember that, but I can see why I
inferred it, but
I wouldn't be surprised by that because in Sansa's head, those are like the two guys that she thinks about a lot in book
she
one.
Definitely liked
Loras
him a lot.
and Joffrey, and she likes them both. Yeah,
and she was already betrothed to him, right? She was already betrothed to Joffrey, but she's like, oh shit, like Loras is great.
Well, and to Kyle's point, like in the tournament, Loras gives Sansa a rose.
Didn't he unseat Jaime? So like they know who Loras is.
Yeah, that was a different.
Don't act like they don't know who Loras is.
Yeah, they know who he is, and he gave Sansa a rose after Sansa was betrothed to Joffrey, which I guess to your point could be like I didn't think of it that way, but it could be taken as like I'm stepping in on your wife.
I thought they did. It didn't seem like they liked each other, and then he left and was on Renly's side for a while. Like, come on.
But also, like, to the whole, like...
I feel like you're downplaying this relationship.
Well, Loras probably isn't actually trying to step in on Sansa, right? Like, from what we've seen, there's a lot of hints that he was gay with Renly. So, again, maybe he was bi, but, like...
Well, and whatever. I don't care. I'm just saying, like, what was happening, the two should hate each other. And now here he is saying,
they're kissing each other now.
with your life.
Well, I thought you were saying that the reason for the hatred would be Joffrey would be jealous that Loras was stepping in,
I
coming for his girl.
Joffrey knows what's going on, so I don't know what you're.
Okay, gotcha. Okay,
like you're taking information that we know, and we are assuming, and you're assuming Joffrey knows it somehow.
Gotcha. Okay,
this kid that's proven himself to be a moron and a hot-headed like freak.
No, I get you. I agree. I was wondering like what you were saying. Yep.
All right, let's move on. So they staged this whole agreement that, I mean, I'm sure all of these parts, like you could have a seat on the council, Loras could be a Kingsguard, and that Marjorie would end up marrying Joffrey and becoming queen. So
this is all Littlefinger, right? Like, I mean, I feel like we're gonna get to this at the end, but I want to say it now, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, when Littlefinger left, they definitely sent him to marry Marjorie. I don't remember now that you said that, Jeff. I bet you at least one of these other two things was probably in it too. Right? Like they in that council chamber, they're like, hey, who's going to go and meet with the Tyrells and try and set up this marriage alliance? It's going to win us the war. Right? That was
right.
like, we had that chapter.
Right. And Littlefinger was like, I'll do it. And I hope I know I'll be well rewarded for it.
Yeah. What I'm saying is they were definitely talking about that. I'm wondering if they were talking about, like maybe in that council chamber, they were like, oh, if you have to too, tell him like one of them can be a Kingsguard. Tell him like one of his other sons can be a Kingsguard. Or tell him that he can have a council
seat. You don't think
seat.
the Tyrells like negotiated some back too?
Agreed. I'm gonna go see if I can look real quick.
Yeah, I agree on both accounts. They probably said like, all right, like we'll Mace is a good guy. Like we can give him probably a worthless seat on the council, and we'll see what else they want, and let's make this thing happen. But I mean, it seems like your daughter's going to become queen, get some places at court. You know, you're kind of the second highest family now. Let's get it going. So it is. We find out that it's kind of fake because Sansa is told by Cersei to like, hey, make sure you look really surprised at the end, at the last one. And like Joffrey plays a big part. Like Joffrey's playing the fool. Like, I can't marry Marjorie. Like I promised myself it would be bad for your king to do that. And then like every part of the realm kind of tells him it's okay. Like the High Septon, Cersei, the Hand. You know, I don't know if Tywin says anything or not, but
you're right though. Yeah, exactly. They go through the show of like why the other one's called off. So that way it's like very public, and he doesn't want to do it, but it's okay. Here's why it's okay. And then all these people can go out and say, oh, well, the god said it was all right. So his mom said he had to, you know, like.
It makes Joffrey seem honorable because it's like he's raising the objections that like somebody like Ned or like Rob would raise, right? Like, I can't. Right. I've already
promised myself.
And they're like, no, hold on. Here's these loopholes. Exactly.
So that's all I really had about it. Joff accepts the deal, and Sansa like hides her face to like just make sure she's like not grinning. She's trying to look distraught, but inside she's pretty happy.
Yeah. There's also like chants going on, and like while they're like doing like the whole like fake thing, and they're like, Marjorie, no traitor queen.
It's just like
Sansa the traitor queen.
Yeah, that's funny. But it's just like the flavor of the week. Like the common folk are such flavor of the week. Like what can we yell about this week? Like, oh, the Tyrells saved us. Like Marjorie's the prettiest. Like I'm sure if it was like, I don't know, whoever else, it'd be like, oh, that place is great. Like,
bunch of hype men. Yes, men, sycophants.
The only time that this throne room is a bigger echo chamber than when it's empty is when it's like absolutely full. Then anything Joffrey says, everyone just kind of like, fuck yeah, like because everyone just wants to be on the king's good side. So yeah, it's just like literally a massive echo chamber.
Yeah, especially now after he just saved after he quote unquote saved them from the Blackwater.
Yep.
So more heroes start to get mentioned after this. There's a list of higher and lesser lords, Nelson. I turn the floor to you to read their names.
Before that, there was like Sansa thinks about a conversation she had in the past with Cersei. Like you said, when she had told her like, hey, don't smile about this. Sansa says like, okay, but wait, if this is happening, then what's up with me? Do I get to go home? And Cersei's like, no, nobody gets what we fucking want. You should know that by now. Shut the fuck up. You're staying here. And Sansa gets even more of a realization about this, like at the end when she talks to Dantos.
Sure. Get into this list of names.
But yeah, next thing they bring in all the heroes. Lord Paxter Redwine, Lord Horace Redwine, and Hobber Redwine. So those two, right, they were captives at King's Landing. And I just went back and skimmed my notes from that chapter with Marjorie. I think they only I think they didn't do the council seat or the other thing. At least that's what I saw in my notes. They might have. But Littlefinger did suggest taking one of these two with him. So I think he did. He took one of these two with him to be like, hey, you're not getting them both back. We still got one, but like, look, you could join us type thing. So I wouldn't have remembered that if I wouldn't have gone and skimmed my notes. So yeah, that's cool. The other ones, Lord Mathis Rowan, Randall Tarley, those two were basically in every council meeting that Renly had that we saw with him. So they were like high ups with him. And these are the heroes, right? So like, again, it's hard here. It's important to kind of distinguish like the heroes that they bring in now versus there's a long list of traitors who fought on the other side. Who
some share a name.
I'm not sure if any, I don't think any share a name. My point is at the beginning of this book, all these people were kind of on the same team and it was anti-Joffrey, right? Both groups of people, right? Mathis Rowan, Randall Tarley, all these people. And then the other group were all against Joffrey. These are the people who I'm kind of imagining are the ones that like Davos is like talking about. Remember when I'm thinking the Stannis and Davos chapter, or I guess it's the Davos chapter when they're outside Storm's End, and Courtney Penrose, that whole thing where he's like, I'm not going to let you in. I'm not going to give you the castle. And on the way back, Stannis is like, why do you admire him more than me? And he's like, he stood true. All these people who are with you now are basically like,
they could flip close tomorrow.
Right, exactly. Right. And then this is them flipping again. You know what I mean? Yeah. So next we got Kevin Lannister, Sir Adam Marbrand. Sir Cavan. Yep. These two are not with them, right? Even Marbrand, he was with Tywin the entire time.
Is it Caven for
I was just, it doesn't matter.
For Glow. So the rest of the next set of these people are from Tywin the whole time. Kevin Lannister, Adam Marbrand, Lewis Leiden. I mean, they say Lord Leiden, Lord Craig Hall, and Lord Brax.
Make sure you breathe between all these names.
Then they go to the people with lesser birth. And the fact that they're announcing these people kind of tells you that these ones actually earned it. You know what it means? Like the other people could have just like, I support you. And that's how they became a hero. These guys are actually the ones popping off in battle. And they're like the no ones.
One-Eyed Knight.
Yeah. One-Eyed Knight, Philip Foote. What's he do, Kyle?
He killed Lord Bruce Cairn, single combat.
Yep. Bryce Cairn. What's cool about that is, and again, it's weird because this is split up into like two different sections, but Kevin later goes over the prizes, and what this guy gets is Bryce Cairn's lands. So he gets all the lands of the dude he killed, which is super badass.
Yeah. Hey, welcome me home. I killed your lord.
That's true. I didn't think about that, but that's I like the fact. It's like, yo, you're a lord, I'm a nobody, but I'm a better fighter. Means I'm a lord now. You're dead.
It's almost
bitch.
Like winning an attorney. Like you just get everybody
exactly, but on a way big, but
on a huge scale.
Yeah,
and that person died.
He went all in, man.
Yeah. Next guy is Lothar Brune. This guy we've actually heard about before. He's the one who's supposed to fight against Sir Dantos during Joffrey's name day tourney. But that never happens, right? Because Dantos shows up drunk.
Dantos pukes.
Yeah. What does he do?
Killed 50 men. Captured Sir John of the Green Apple. Killed Sir Brian and Edwin of the Red. The Fossways.
Now he's the apple eater. Lothar the apple eater.
Yep. Lothar gets knighted for this. He's given a keep in the Riverlands. Just like a random keep in lands. And again, it's like when the war's over. So it's like we still have to win. So stay on our side or else you don't get shit. It's kind of how I see some of these rewards too. The next one is Willet. Just some dude.
Yeah, God fucked up. He gets brought in on a gurney, but he pulled his master out from under a dying horse and then defended him versus a dozen people.
Yep. He is like, because he's kind of like the lowest of the lowborn, he's only given like a spear, chainmail, and helmet for his service. Like he literally had to be brought in a fucking litter because he's so injured, and he's given just like, here's some new armor. Like no lands, no nothing. Oh, and we'll take your children and like they'll be squires, which is a good, like, think about that. Like think about Davos having his children be squires. Right? It's the way up, exactly. Yeah. But it also is like a hostage thing. Kind of, right? But I guess like who cares? Like, no one's taking hostages for lowborns. And then the last one, how do you say that first name?
Jasmine Peckledin. It was the easiest name ever.
Young bull, less than 14.
Young kid.
But he killed 2 knights, wounded a 3rd, and captured 2 more.
He'll be a knight one day.
Yep. He's given a new sword, new armor, a pick of a horse, and he'll be knighted when he comes of age.
Yep. All right. So after them, they get the gifts.
Next people that come in are the people who are awarded for doing nothing but living.
Yeah, they survived being on their ship. The captains of a couple ships. Nelson names a ship. Go.
Yeah, so the ships are Wildwind, Prince Aemon, River Arrow, God's Grace Lance, Lady Silk, and Ram's Head.
And then also the pyromancers get thanked as well. And
they just get like a props. It's like, yeah, good job, thanks.
We're gonna call you Lord now, just like Varys.
But yeah, no lands or titles come with that lordship. So kind of like fuck you too.
Yep.
And then two more guys. The last one we said is. Our second to last one is Lancel, who receives Castle Derry.
Yep. Which we did hear about this last chapter too.
Isn't this they're getting sent out to burn it, right?
The Goatsmen just took Castle Derry, right?
Not the Goatsmen. I think it was either Glover or Tallheart. One of them was supposed to go to kill everyone at Derry and then burn it, and then they were both supposed to meet up and go.
And then they're going to Dunskindale.
Yeah.
I didn't think they were splitting up. I thought they were all.
Well,
just
maybe
together,
they are.
They are.
And also, I looked because since they're giving him Derry, I looked because they say. Whose last child lord had perished during the fighting in the Riverlands, leaving no true-born heirs of lawful Derry blood, only a bastard cousin. So I looked up who this was. And we heard about this in the first chapter of this book. This was the Mountain retook Castle Derry very early on at the beginning of this book, and when he did, he killed every single person there, put all them to the sword, including their lord. That's why there's no Derrys left, just because the Mountain literally killed them all. So. Last chapter, when Bolton was like, kill everyone in Derry, I think I was like, that's a little harsh. But now I get it. Like, you're just kind of paying them back to what.
Is it all a bunch of Lannisters there currently?
It's like, I guess whoever the Mountain left there. I assume it's not the Mountain, but it's whoever the Mountain left there.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're like, hey, we have the Mountain there, so that's yours, Lancel. Little did they know, Roose probably is attempting to take it back. I think he said they had actually already taken it back, and they were like garrisoning it in that chapter.
I think they had it, and he said, tell them to. Like, just destroy that place and get out.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
All right. And then Lancel, we hear, is fucked up. And we saw him get fucked up. I actually forgot, now I recall, that he had a battle wound. Cersei gave it a little poke, made it hurt a little bit more. Now he might be dying and losing his arm.
Another interesting thing about that is after Cersei gives it a poke, Sansa helps him get to a maester and thinks to herself, like, damn it, why am I helping the enemy right now? And it's like, if she didn't help him, because she says, like, he might lose an arm or die. And again, I don't know, like, did minutes matter here? If they did, Sansa could have saved his life or arm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is,
sure.
Like...
And it's kind of snuck in that Tyrion the Imp might be dying from a pretty nasty head
face cut
wound.
Yeah.
Which is like a little weird, right? Because he didn't have that when we last saw him.
He has a sensation in his face.
Yeah. Okay.
He reaches out and then he sees, like, Mandan's sword coming, and he's like, did I see the sword? It made me lean away, but then there was a stinging in my face or something like that.
Okay.
Let me see. Sir Mandan was holding out his left hand. Why? Was that why it reeled backward, or did he see the sword after all? He would never know. The point slashed just beneath his eyes. He felt the cold, hard touch, and then the blaze of pain. His head spun around as if he'd been slapped.
Okay. I don't remember that, but okay. I mean, the prediction is he's going to live through it. There you go.
Okay. Early prediction for Tyrion. All right, so then Littlefinger's ass walks in all smiley and purple.
The guy. We haven't seen this guy in forever. It's one of the things I think you had said, like, it was one of the things that George did a good job at, like,
kind of Foxy been
making us forget about. And we see that Sansa doesn't quite understand. She's like, why he didn't do any fighting. Like, why is he getting rewarded?
Yeah.
But, like, we kind of know it's because he helped set all this shit up.
Yeah, he did it for sure.
And he gets Harrenhal. And he's super pumped about it.
Not only that, he's given Lord Paramount of the Trident, which basically means, do you know what that means, Kyle?
Well, it's not like the Lord in the North. It's like the Lord in the center, I'm assuming.
Yeah, like the Lord of the Riverlands. What the Tullys are now.
Liege Lord.
Yeah, the Liege Lord, exactly.
of the Riverlands, right? But he just gave him the Trident. Why is the Trident considered the Riverlands?
I think it's the same thing. Yeah, it's like the same.
Yeah, for sure, because it said, I mean, he says that, right?
Yeah.
I thought he said with the Tullys and the whatever.
It does say that the Tullys are the Liege Lord, but I never knew the title that... I don't know if we've heard of this title before.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, the Trident's the river.
Right. And it's the three rivers, or the forks of the Trident go across the Riverlands. And Sansa thinks to herself, like, why is he so happy about getting Harrenhal? That place is fucking cursed.
I miss Littlefinger. He only has, like, one quick little jape here. He's like, this is for you, your sons and grandsons for all time.
I guess I better start having sons.
I miss this guy.
I feel like it's probably because I know too much or I've heard too many people, like, explain that he's not a good person, right? But like, I just hope for the worst for this.
What
dude.
is good and bad?
I know you said you love Littlefinger, but I just like despise him for no real reason yet.
Everyone's a gray character.
Everyone's gray. There's no
bad.
Good and bad.
Except for, I mean, yeah,
but I feel like he's more on the probably the not good side.
Yeah, but I like him because of the way he gets it done. He's like,
yeah, I understand. He's interesting. I get it.
Exactly.
But he's hateable.
Yep, so she thinks this is BS. It's just like, this doesn't mean anything more than calling Helene Lord, because we don't hold this castle right now, and like no one would accept you.
Well, the other big thing is too, I think we mentioned it, but like this person isn't the liege lord. Like River Run is the lead castle. Like as long as people are surviving, like they're going to be loyal to River Run, like not Harrenhal. Like whatever, they got the title, but no one's going to be loyal to this person.
Exactly. That's what Sansa's thinking. And then she gets to the thought, unless
they lose.
Unless everyone dies. Everyone is all my fucking family. So fuck, we don't want that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's definitely the implication, though. It's like everybody in the room is essentially saying they're gonna kill them all, right? Like, I mean,
yeah, kind of like I said earlier for like one of the lesser people who got gifted lands in the Riverlands. It's like I think it was Lothar Brune. Like, hey, Lothar, they're not gonna find you a keep and lands in the Riverlands unless we conquer the Riverlands, who are currently in rebellion, claiming themselves to be a different kingdom. So like, yeah, unless we win this fucking war, none of this is gonna happen. Which I think it's cool because you can like reward people for service, but also just like keep them in your back pocket. Like Littlefinger, like if he betrays like the Lannisters, like it's not like he can still be like, oh, I'm Lord of Harrenhal, because like, how does that work? Did they give it to him?
How many people have we seen now claim to be the Lord of Harrenhal?
Starts off with Lady Sheila Went, then it goes to, I guess, Tywin, right? He occupies it at least. Then it goes to Roose.
Or Janos Slynt too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was given it. Yep.
A week or so.
Till Tyrion. Yeah. Then Tywin occupies it.
So I mean, it plays into the curse. I think that's kind of part of it. But Tywin occupied it, and then Roose has it,
and he has mentioned in the last chapter that it's going to Vargo when he leaves.
Yeah, and now Littlefinger.
So that's a list. It's like a list of like 6 people for a book and a half.
All right, so then there's a bunch of new. What are you before a knight? A swordsman,
free rider, men at arms, guardsmen. I think it's different.
Soldiers, warriors, come in to get knighted. A lot of them. 300,
I think. 600.
Yep.
They all started at the Sept and had to walk barefoot through the streets to get to the Red Keep, where they're now getting their belt.
Yep. They get knighted by the King's Guard. It takes a while because there's only 3. We got Meryn, Balon, and Osmond. Where are the other cats at?
One's dead.
Yeah.
Mandan, dead.
One took, what's her name? Marcella.
Aerys
Marcella.
The Hound.
And he's fucking gone. No one knows where that cat's at.
Yeah, he got drunk and pieced out. Well, he creeped on Sansa first.
Yep. And Jaime's a captive.
Yeah.
So we only got 3, so it took a fucking long time to get through all these 600 people. By the time they're done, everyone's fidgety.
Joff's getting restless.
It's like Jeff by the time I'm done a list of names. He's like, all right, let's move on.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Come on.
We got one more. It's coming up.
The captive. It's time for the flip of the coin. It's time for the captives to come in, and they're here to plead fealty.
Yep.
Or get their head chopped off.
Yeah. Lord Celtigar, Bonifer the Good, Lord Estermont, Lord Varner, who had a shattered knee, so he had to hobble the length of the hall. Sir Mark Mullendore, whose left arm was gone. Red Ron at Connington. Dermot of the Rainwood, Lord Willem, and his 2 sons, Elias and Joshua. John Fossaway, who we heard was captured by Lothar Brune, the Apple Eater. Timon the Scrapesword. Uraine Waters, they call him the Bastard of Driftmark. Waters is the bastard name for the Crownlands. And Lord Stedmont, called Pennylover. And hundreds others. Too bad we didn't get those hundreds others, huh?
Yeah, thank God. Huh?
Fuck off. No.
So the big part about this is a couple of them are like, I guess, pleading fealty, right? But one guy is like, nope, Stannis is the GOAT. Stannis will kill you all. Yeah. And his head gets chopped off, and that causes another guy to stand up.
But that one was like, they took him outside and did it, right?
Yeah.
Like out back, kind of. Like he had the ill and pain do it out. Yeah. Like the other guy's the only
This other guy just went fucking off, which was great. How did it start?
Stannis is the true king. A monster sits the Iron Throne, an abomination born of incest. Be silent, Kevin Lannister bellowed. The knight raised his voice and said, Joffrey is a black worm eating the heart of the realm. Darkness was his father, and death his mother. Destroy him before he corrupts you all. Destroy them all. Queen whore and king worm, vile dwarf and whispering spider, the false flowers. Save yourselves. This guy starts to get beat by a gold cloak.
The scoring fire will come. King Stannis will return.
This guy's all for Stannis, yeah.
He keeps going. And then he gets tackled.
Joffrey stands up.
Yeah.
He starts yelling,
I'm king. Kill him. Kill him.
king.
and then he's like smashing down like with a chop his fucking head off, and he cuts himself on the Iron Throne.
Slice. Got his ass.
Slitted him.
Sounds pretty good too, because it's like immediately fucked up his cloak,
his
right?
sleeve.
He's probably wearing some thick stuff.
Mommy needs to come get his ass. That's for sure.
Yeah, Cersei's running to him.
Mother.
And this guy keeps yelling. With every eye on the king, somehow the man on the floor got the spear away and used it to push himself to his feet. The throne defies him.
That gold cloak's fired.
Yeah, he is no king.
No king.
And then he starts yelling, no king again, as Meryn just stabbed his dude in the chest.
Yeah, Tywin gives the signal. This guy's gone.
Tywin gave a signal? I missed that. Oh, yeah, but Lord Tywin remains still a stone. He had only to raise a finger.
And then he takes the throne and continues on.
He doesn't take the throne. He sits at the foot of it.
He takes a stare. He takes a stare.
Which is interesting right after this guy's like, the throne denies him. And then later Sansa says like, oh, the throne punishes those who aren't worthy. Is that why Tywin's like, you know what? I'm not going to risk it. I'll sit here.
Fuck, I don't even want to try setting up on that thing. That jump's too high anyway. Too many steps.
I think he's not king, is I think why.
But Ned wasn't like when Ned was hand, he still sat on the throne to like rule when Robert was out hunting.
Yeah, but the king is in the next room, I guess, is what I would say about that.
Yeah.
So then Sansa is able to leave at the end. Thank God it's the end. Sansa celebrates back in her room by screaming in her pillow.
Yep.
Does she get dinner?
Yep, she brings in dinner. She says even the food tasted sweeter.
And then she goes off to the Godswood. She had to sneak by old Kettleback.
Yep. And she gets to her boy Dantos.
He's like, oh my God, Jonquil, smile, we made it.
No, opposite. She's smiling. He's not smiling. She's like, why aren't you happy?
Oh wait, what's his name?
Florian.
She's the Florian. He's the Florian.
No, he's Florian.
She's Jonquil.
Fool. Yeah. And he's like, what's wrong? Like, you should be happy. Like, I'm free. And he's like, you're an idiot. You're not free. All that's changed is your kids just went from princes to bastards.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's still gonna.
Yeah, you're not going anywhere.
He's the king. Yeah. You're too valuable.
But don't worry, the day is set. We're breaking out of this bitch.
The wedding day.
Wedding time. Yep. A few hours of everybody's two partied out. They can just peace out.
Bunch of guests here. Nobody knows who's who.
Half of them too drunk, half of them busy with the wedding. It'll be our time. And then he's like, I got a gift for you too.
It was a hairnet of fine spun silver, the strand so thin and delicate the net seemed to weigh no more than a breath of air when Sansa took it in her fingers. Small gems were set wherever two strands crossed, so dark they drank the moonlight. What stones are these?
Black amethyst from Ashai, the rarest kind, a deep true purple by daylight.
It's very lovely, Sansa said, thinking. It is a ship I need, not a net for my hair.
Lovelier than you know, sweet child. It's magic, you see. It's justice you hold. It's vengeance for your father.
Dantos leaned close and kissed her again.
It's home.
That was one of your better characters. Nice work.
So I thought I had this, like, at least, I'm going to say figured out, but
I
always have, like, the shadow of doubt. So, like, I wasn't, like, 100% confident, but, like, thought it was, like, Marcella's or, you know, Lady, what's her name? Lollies or somebody that they could disguise Sansa as when they're slipping her out.
Mm.
Ooh.
Was what I had originally thought.
Like the hairnet can like cover her face a little bit.
No, I don't know that it's going to cover her. It's like from the back, you know, or whatever you'd see her. They'd just assume it was her. It might be something somebody else wore all the time. Although this is the first we heard of it.
What's weird is like hairnets aren't jewelry people wear anymore. Like when I think of hairnet, I think of like a lunch lady. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you don't think of like. I don't think I've ever seen a jewelry hairnet.
I can't recall the last time I've seen a lunch lady in a fucking bejeweled silver hairnet, though.
That's not what I mean. What I'm saying is I've never seen. Like, I know I've seen it in like. I'm sure I've seen it in like a movie or something. But in real life, I don't think
probably
I've
in like Lord of the
ever
Rings.
seen
Elves probably wear them or something.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't think I've ever seen it in real life. So like, the first thing that I think of when I think of hairnet is lunch lady.
You want some more sloppy Joe?
You want some more?
I know how you kids like them. Extra sloppy.
All right. So,
cool.
Any other predictions?
I like the prediction.
I mean, I don't know what else to say. Like, I obviously hope she gets out of there, right? Like,
that was the big, like, I think Jeff Means on like other stuff throughout the chapter.
But
I mean,
Ashai, let's go through this here real quick. Ashai, that's kind of where Danny was, right?
East of East. Yeah.
East of where Danny
what's his name? Jorah wants her to keep going to Ashai.
Okay, I know I've heard the name Ashai.
Like, I think Ashai is just like a weird place where like everyone assumes like it's like magic-y stuff.
Is that where Mirri Maz Duur trained?
Yeah, I think Mirri Maz Duur says she was from there, and then like I think like when like Danny goes to see the 13, she wears like a collar with jewels on it or something that he says is from Ashai and will protect her against spells or poisons or something. So to me, like Ashai is just like a place that we don't know about, and it's like really mysterious and stuff that comes from there, or people who have been there or are, and like I think Melisandre from Ashai, like I think even like the red lady who was with Stannis has been there too. It's just like stuff from there is like weird and magic-y, I think is kind of what we know about Ashai so far.
It's like Canada.
It's like the unknown.
It's a dumb joke, Nelson. Yeah, I mean, I don't have much else to say about Ashai then, I guess. Like, if we haven't been there, we don't really know anybody from there. We just know that. Like, I mean, maybe there's some truth to whatever he's saying, but do I believe
what
it?
I'm saying?
No, not you. Fucking Dantos. He's told her it was magic and vengeance and whatever. I don't know. I don't know much about this net yet, obviously. It's purple, dark amethyst. I don't know. Have we seen amethyst? Has anybody been wearing amethyst before?
I'm not sure. Not that sticks out to me.
It's a purple gem, right?
I think so.
Yeah. He says it's purple, right?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's dark enough it drinks in the sunlight or the moonlight, whatever. Yeah, it's purple. Deep purple.
All
right, guys. We'll see Kyle in the next one for Theon 6, and we'll see the rest of you guys in the spoiler section.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Later, nerds.
Bye.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
Bye, Kyle. See you later. Thanks for hanging out with us. Now, on to the spoiler section of Sansa 8. Nelson, what's your hot take?
For how many names there are, I probably should have more, but I was too busy writing down all the names to get too many takes.
All bullshit names.
So I don't have too many takes. We got the hairnet to talk about, obviously.
Yeah.
The only other thing I really wanted to talk about, besides like a little House of the Dragon thing,
I want to talk. Yeah. That's what I want to talk about. So the Lannisters give Littlefinger Harrenhal here. Yeah.
Which again is like, do they know? Are they already in cahoots with Bolton?
Right.
I guess based on what we know Bolton does, he like actually gives it to Vargo and like leaves a decent amount of people there. So it's not like he does anything to make Harrenhal vulnerable. Which I guess I just talked myself out of my own question.
Do you think they're just holding Harrenhal for Tywin?
That's kind of what my question was. Is Bolton already in on holding it for Tywin? But I guess like so I don't think so, because like Roose doesn't really like necessarily leave. Like theoretically, if Vargo had command of his men were more dutiful and like good, he could have held Harrenhal against the mountain, like, and they wouldn't have deserted him.
Right. All right. Well, here's the other part of it. Littlefinger doesn't really care about Harrenhal.
Is that true?
He just wants the title.
So there's a lot of theories that like Harrenhal is like some magic thing, right? Like because the tourney at Harrenhal, that's where like the whole Rhaegar and Lyanna thing happened, and then there's like, without going too far into it, I think the theory is that there's something weird going on that Rhaegar was trying to fulfill, some prophecy that Rhaegar was trying to fulfill, that Littlefinger is now trying to fulfill. And potentially the reason because it does, like, to your question, why does Littlefinger care about Harrenhal? It's a great question, because he does clearly care about Harrenhal. He's clearly upset with Tyrion earlier when Tyrion, because Tyrion offered him Harrenhal for the Marcella thing to give Marcella to, and then he is actually mad when that gets pulled out from under him. He's like, what the fuck, dude?
Well, I'm sure it's a dope castle. It's the biggest castle, even though it's burned half to shit. It's still, but what is he right now? He's the lord of master of coin. He's not a lord of any land. Like, he doesn't own any land.
He wants Harrenhal. when they're about to send him to Bitterbridge, they're like, "What reward do you want?" And he says, I'll think of something." And he looks at Tyrion.
It was the only castle that was up for grabs at that moment.
It's not even up for grabs. Like we were saying this, it's not up for grabs.
Janos Slynt was just sent to the wall.
Derry is up for grabs.
Janos Slynt was just sent to the wall. That's
it's
why
not
it was up for grabs.
It's held.
It was at that time when Janos Slynt was sent to the wall.
Okay.
He was Lord of Harrenhal. So now, who's the Lord of Harrenhal? It was up for grabs.
Okay, so you give it to him now. What I'm saying is when they send him to Bitterbridge, they're like, "Who's going to go to Bitterbridge?" And they're like, when he volunteers, they're like, "What do you want? Like, we know you want something." And he's like, I'll think of something. And he gives Tyrion a weird look. You think it's just like, I just happen to want the one castle that is open.
The one castle that's available.
Okay. Agreed. I guess this is just agree to disagree again. Like, most people think there's something up with why Littlefinger wants. Most people think Littlefinger definitely wants Harrenhal, and like some people think it's because, again, they think he already has eyes on Sansa because like clearly he had something to do with Catelyn before. Maybe if it has nothing to do with magic prophecies, maybe it's still eyes on Sansa. And this was Sansa's like Kat's mom's castle. Like I think Kat's mom was Went.
Sure.
And this was the Went castle. So again, there's connections with Sansa in this castle. There's big connections with Sansa and Littlefinger. There's connections with Littlefinger in this castle. Like that's why there's a lot of like people are questioning like why he's so interested. Now? Yep. Go ahead.
All right. Total none. I have no theories or anything to back this up. But right now he is Littlefinger, Master of Coin, who has no land or titles, but maybe a little fucking house in wherever he's from.
Yeah. The fingers.
And now he's a lord. Now he's a lord with land and people and potential to raise an army. So fuck the magical castle and prophecies. How about just the fact that he can now be the lord of a castle?
And there's even more evidence for that too. Like I was saying earlier, Harrenhal used to be like what the Tullys were, right? And who does Littlefinger kind of have like who's he? He got fucking spurned by the Tullys. He wanted to be a part, like he wanted to marry into that family, marry Cat, and they basically said, no, fuck you. He fought a duel against Brandon. Like, he got fucked by the Tullys. It makes sense that he wants to be like, fuck you, I'm the Lord of the Trident now, not you.
Sure. And again, I agree with all that. The weird shit, like, this prophecy, like, we're running out of time, per se. Like, you can't just keep adding shit into this story and then never wrapping it up, or we're going to end up with a story that's unwrapped. So that's why I'm saying, like, another prophecy, like, what the fuck are we talking about? Like, there's the biggest prophecy ever that's still being not wrapped up for 5+ books. So that's what I'm saying. Boo-hoo those ideas, because we're going to be right. George is going to not be alive forever, and he's never going to finish the story. That's what I mean.
Again, I agree with the thing. I think the reason that we have these arguments is because the way George describes himself is like the gardener, right? Where he plants seeds that maybe will mean nothing in the future, but he plants them there so that maybe they could mean something, right? Why are there so many connections between Littlefinger and Sansa and Harrenhal and all like these three things together? It's kind of weird. But also, it makes a ton of sense without any of that, like you're saying, why Littlefinger wants Harrenhal, right? That is kind of like the symbol of the most power in kind of all of Westeros, if not especially the Riverlands. And it used to be like the people who own the Riverlands sit there. So there's a perfectly logical explanation of why Littlefinger would want Harrenhal without any of the theory bullshit, right? But I 100% think there's a ton of theory and potential subtext laid in there. And I think you're kind of being a little dismissive to be like, who cares? It's not going to matter. When I think you might be right. Like, you might be 100% right, and it might not matter.
We don't even know who's at Harrenhal right now. We just forgot who's technically at Harrenhal. Littlefinger never even steps foot in his castle.
Again, like let's think about where we're at with Littlefinger right now. He's having this like Sansa's pretending to be his daughter, but he's setting up a marriage.
He's about to marry Lysa?
He's setting up a marriage between Sansa and Lysa's dead. He's setting up a marriage between Sansa and Harry the Heir, and potentially going to try and kill Robin Arryn. What that will accomplish is between the two of Sansa and Harry the Heir, right? Sansa, because she's Littlefinger's daughter, will be the Lady of Harrenhal. She'll also be the Lady of the Eyrie because she married the man of the Eyrie. She'll also be the Lady of Winterfell because all the other Starks are dead. So the big theory is that
she can't be Littlefinger's daughter and Sansa Stark. I mean, at that point, it folds.
Sure, but maybe like Littlefinger passes this to her before he reveals her. Again, I don't know, but
wait, you're actually saying Stark. Okay, everything's fine. Take everything.
You're saying that you don't think George will be able to pull what I just explained off. Like I said, I agree with you. There's a loop. It doesn't make sense the way I straight up said it. But Littlefinger
didn't make sense at all.
Is trying to acquire the ability to be the lord of these different kingdoms.
Sure, that makes plenty of sense. That makes a lot more sense than a magical castle that's going to spit fire volcanoes onto the Red Keep.
So let's talk about the House of the Dragon things. I mean, that's kind of the other things I had.
The biggest thing is him getting cut by the throne. And you mentioned it to me like, oh,
is that the biggest thing? That wasn't even the biggest thing I saw.
Well, it's the most relevant thing to me because we just saw Viserys die, and it essentially got started by getting cut on a throne on his back, and
it definitely means the most. It's definitely the biggest connection to me. And again, like no one's gonna get this as much. I guess what's that got the most to me, and it's just because literally 3 days ago we saw episode 8 where Viserys hobbles in the room without an arm, and then without
half of a face.
But in this chapter, 2 people enter back to back. Lord Varner hobbled the length of the hall with a shattered knee, but would refuse to take any help. And then the very next person, Mark Mullendore, came with half his left arm gone. So to me, I'm like, these 2 people are. Again, I don't think there's any intent. There can't be an intentional connection there.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think they just got fucked up. But yeah, you're right. If it is intentional, they're like, oh my God. But I don't know. But
there can't be an intentional connection. And you're right. As a general House of the Dragon show, the biggest thing here is the throne cutting. But just because we just saw episode 8, that was like, what?
When you went back to episode 1 and I was like, oh, damn, the fucking throne cut him. And you're like, oh yeah, that means like the throne is denying him or he's not worthy to sit up there. I was like, oh shit. Like, I wonder if when I don't remember reading anything about it in the actual book, and here it was. So I was like on the lookout for because I mean you would have said like, hey, remember in this chapter if we already read it. I don't know if you knew that the next chapter was gonna be.
If I did, I would have said it. I don't remember if I said it or not, but
you didn't.
Fans who listen will know.
It was cool to
I might have.
See,
you don't listen to me a lot.
You didn't. Go back and listen to any recording. It was cool to see it actually in writing that. Like Sansa quoted it being like a myth or and the guy screams it out like, oh shit, he got cut. Like, why didn't anybody yell when Patty got cut? Viserys got cut.
But so when Viserys got cut, it was just him and Daemon though. It was just him, Daemon, and the Kingsguard, right?
Right.
Another thing in the books, what's crazy is Viserys doesn't get cut. I think he gets like nicked here and there, but it doesn't really do any big damage, like throne at all, until when he yelled. I think I told you in the House of the Dragon. Again, we're going to go on a little House of the Dragon tangent here. I think I told you in the last House of the Dragon podcast we did for episode 8 that in the books it's a little different. Rhaenyra orders Daemon to kill Vaemond after he starts speaking out against their children, and he kills him and then feeds him to Rhaenyra's dragon. And then some other cousins go to King's Landing and plead to Viserys like, hey, this is what Daemon did. Also, Rhaenyra's kids are bastards, and he's like, cut out all their tongues, right? That in that moment, he's very upset. He's like, cut out all their tongues. In the books, that's the time he cuts his fingers badly, and it's so bad that they actually have to call Rhaenyra's maester from Dragonstone, who's like the best medical maester around, and he's like, we got to cut off 2 of his fingers. Right.
So him falling apart in the show is different than the book.
It happens. This is when it happens. It happens when he yells at them.
Right.
They are bastards.
Right.
They call him out, and he says, "Fuck you! Get your tongues cut out." That's when he cuts his throat. He's like, he's lying. Once
he becomes a liar.
He's trying to seat a bastard on the Iron Throne, and the throne's like, "No, fuck you. Right. They're right."
Or just not seeing the truth, so now he's not worthy.
Yeah. Again, you can read it different ways, but that's kind of how it goes.
Why do you think the show just started showing him just fall apart from the beginning?
I think it's along the same lines. In the show, he's unworthy because he's not showing his brother love. Daemon, sure, he's a fuck up in the way
you have to show your brother love.
No, but Daemon loves his brother. Like, Daemon is honestly trying to help Viserys, and yeah, he fucks up and he calls he says the heir for the day, right? That's what Viserys
Right.
banishes him for. But Daemon does love Viserys. He even says in that
Viserys
scene,
loves him too. He banishes him and brings it back. All right, let's not stick too.
yeah,
we don't have to linger too much. This isn't House of Dragon.
but he also unnames him as heir. He doesn't just banish him. So maybe that's why the throne cuts him. Maybe the throne says Daemon should have been heir.
Sure.
Maybe that's what they were going for.
Maybe. What else is there? Is there any other House of Dragon stuff?
That was the two things. It's like, just again, the walking in like the hall. I don't think there can be any connection at all. But it's just hilarious how a dude refused to get any help, and then
all right. So Lancel, we know, lives, gets all fucked up, goes to Derry, and is still kind of mentally fucked up.
Yeah, but you're telling me Derry's gonna matter in book 7? That's a quote you gave me last time in the last Sansa chapter. I brought this up. Lancel gets hurt, gets given Castle Derry. You're like, we're really gonna talk about this? You think Derry's gonna be important in the next book?
It's a stupid storyline. It doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. This is what I'm talking about. And again, I'll say it. There's too much shit going on that it can't matter. It can't matter.
Well,
can't matter.
That's why the book's not done.
It can't matter. There's too much shit to talk about. That's why. Now I'm gonna say Dan and Dan were like, "Fuck it." There's too much shit to wrap up. Fuck that shit. Let's just throw some shit at the wall.
So I guess along this line, there's 3 options, right? There's either too much shit to wrap up and we never get any books and it never gets done. There's too much shit to wrap up. You're right, and George probably takes the smart route and just cuts a bunch of shit that he wanted to do and make cool. And he's like, you know what? This will never get done. If I do this, I'm dying. Write the book that I can get out. That's the Jeff book that we get, where none of this shit, where a lot of the stuff that I want to matter doesn't end up mattering. And then I think the reason it's taking so long is because George says he's a gardener, and theoretically what that means is you plant a bunch of seeds, some grow and some don't, and you fucking cut the heads off. I think the problem is George is a gardener who refuses to cut any weeds. So anything that grows, he tries to let it grow.
I think you're a fucking gardener. That you want every seed to grow.
I want every seed to grow for sure. Oh, I think a lot of the fans do, and I think maybe that's why George is kind of reluctant to let some go. He says he doesn't listen to fan theories because he doesn't want to be influenced and he doesn't want to like.
It's also like, oh my god, they want that. Like I mentioned Castle Derry as like a fucking stopgap castle, and now people are writing about this like it's fucking the most important thing ever. Now I gotta figure out how to make like.
He's talked about this, how he tries to avoid stuff because like sometimes there's 2 things that can happen. Either he sees a theory that like he wanted to kind of be secret, like probably John being the R plus L equals J, right? That's something that maybe he doesn't even want people to know yet in the books, but people figured it out, right? And then, so he's like, when I see that, do I change it? Because like, I don't have to make R plus L equal J. I've left enough wiggle room that I could change it. So because everyone thinks this, do I want to change it? And I hate that influence of wanting to do that. But also sometimes people come up with theories that I never even thought of, but I'm like, oh my God, that could work. And I think they're really cool, but then I feel like I'm stealing an idea. So I hate that too. Yeah. So George says he just tries to exactly. So he just says he tries to stay away from everything, which I think is the best approach.
Just be original, George. Write your book and try and write it sooner than later.
George is the most original.
Tyrion, face cut off. No, he's still kicking. But and then I guess the biggest thing about it is the Sansa being hyped up about it, but she's about to have to marry Tyrion.
Yeah.
But unconsummated marriage, so.
Yeah, and then the last thing is just the hairnet, right? So we get the hairnet. Kyle, again, I was wondering, like, is he going to call this out right now? Like, is he going to...
I mean, it's pretty... I don't remember it being this obvious that the hairnet was going to be, like, the tool of vengeance. Like, oh, this hairnet is your revenge. This hairnet is, like... At that point, you're like, okay, well, I guess this hairnet's going to be really important. Like, I don't know. I must have...
And I even told him, like, magic stuff comes from... I mean, poison's not magic, but I, like, even said, like, hey, this is probably a weird item. Like, everything we've heard about Ashai means weirdness so far, so...
yeah.
I mean, hindsight's 2020, so it's so hard for me to tell, like, knowing... Like, is it easy to tell? I mean, clearly it's not, because Kyle doesn't see it, but... It seems so easy, like obvious.
I mean, this one here, like, I don't know. Like, I feel like the first time I read it so fast.
But Kyle doesn't have that excuse.
To the point of, he does not have that excuse. To the point of, all right, by the way, like, we're going to break you out, but I have a gift for you too. And it's this stupid ass hairnet. And she's like, why the fuck are you giving me a hairnet? And then he says, it's magic, you see. It's justice you hold. It's vengeance for your father. It's home. Like, you don't say that weird ass line and say, like, oh, this hairnet is the justice for my father. Like, how the fuck does that make sense? Like, it obviously, as reading it this slow, rang an alarm in Kyle's head. Like, what the fuck is this hairnet? And she's gonna. I'm sure Danto's gonna be like, hey, make sure you wear the hairnet to the wedding.
I think in the show they do it way better, and maybe it's because I think you're right. It is kind of obvious here. Do you remember what they do in the show?
She's able to like pick out jewelry, right? Like,
well, it's a necklace, and Dantos gives it to her. But he gives a speech like it's my grandmother's, and like, and this is true. The rest of his family was murdered. He's like literally the last of his line, and he tells her like, this is the last I have of like the female line of my family. I was gonna give it to a wife or something like that, but I'll never get married because I'm a fool. You saved my life. I want you to have it. Right. It just like it's like a gift. Like genuinely, he feels thankful because she saved his life, and she gives him. He gives. That makes total sense, and it's not suspicious at all.
Right.
This is just like, hey, wear this magic thing. You know,
this will bring you home. Like,
yeah.
What? And it's magic, and it's just goofy. It's definitely something that raised Kyle's eyebrows, and I'm like, oh my god, it's so fucking obvious. Maybe it's not obvious that the jewel is inlaid with poison and it's going to be the thing that kills Joffrey ultimately. But
it's weird too, because there's no insinuation that she's intended to wear that at the wedding night, right?
Well, not here, but I'm saying
but Kyle assumed that, because Kyle's prediction says that the whole point of this is it's a disguise, and that Sansa from behind with this thing on will look like somebody. Well, she only needs to look like somebody on the night of Joffrey's wedding when they're planning to get her to escape.
Yeah, that makes sense. Kyle was onto that. My question is, like, in a Sansa or two before the feast, the wedding night, does Dantos remind her, like, hey, make sure you wear that hairnet?
I think she definitely does. What's hilarious, though, is, like, I get why he gives it to her now, but I have a sister who's, like, 13 years old, about Sansa's age. If there's something that I want her to have in a month from now, that's like very, very important that she has in a month from now. The last thing I'm going to do is give that to her now.
Yeah.
She's going to lose that thing. She's going to drop in the toilet. You know what I mean? Like,
well,
real 13-year-old girl would lose this necklace or whatever.
But it's not
like Danto should just hold on to it. Like you're saying, just hold on to it till the night before the wedding and then give it to her. The only reason we get it now is to be like a cool closing for Sansa's story in A Clash of Kings, where we get like a little foreshadowing of Joffrey's death.
So the actual Joffrey's death, we've talked hand over fist. Is that the saying?
Something like that.
We've talked a lot about how it wasn't mentioned for Joffrey. I don't even want to get into that. You were going to say it's meant for Tyrion and yada, yada, yada. Who grabs the poison from her hairnet?
I think it could be. I think there's a definite possibility that would be Olenna. Again, I have a problem with that either way, because why? I feel like Littlefinger has no need to involve Olenna. Sure, Olenna. I agree that Olenna has a motive to not want Joffrey to marry her daughter or her granddaughter. Good motive. It just doesn't make sense to why include her. And again, like, sure, maybe
strong ally that is an old lady that might die soon.
and well, the other thing is, clearly this plan is set now, right? So let's think about timeline. Whoever knows about the death of a Joffrey plan knows now. But where was Littlefinger? He was just with the Tyrells, which potentially means at High. We don't know exactly, but potentially, I think probably at Highgarden. So he probably was just talking to Lady Olenna. So is it possible? Yes, it's possible. But to me, it just doesn't make sense why.
Well, this is the other thing: is Littlefinger's playing 4D chess when everybody else is playing checkers.
Sure.
So I'm just putting this out there. He might be getting the Tyrells involved to know that 4 moves down the road, he's going to say, fuck the Tyrells. And maybe it's the Septon people, and then they blow up and then he blows up the Sept with all the Tyrells in there at Marjorie's case. Like, who knows if it's something like that, but
I feel like I 5-headed Kyle too. In the non-spoiler, I said, like, something about, like, oh, now that the Lannisters are the ones promising Littlefinger Harrenhal, but it's not really a thing until the war's over. He can't betray the Lannisters or else that's gone. Well, the next people he betrays is the Lannisters, but he just does it without them knowing he does it.
Right.
Which is just,
so. I mean, that's
like you're saying.
That's the great story, and that's why you love Littlefinger, because he's the cog that turns this whole wheel. And Kyle doesn't really feel that yet. Kyle still thinks that, like, the Lannisters killed Robin Aaron and shit like that, or not Robin,
John Aaron, yeah.
John Aaron and shit.
Well, the thing is, like, even though we get all those revelations about Littlefinger, there's still so many more things that we don't know about. That's what's great about Littlefinger.
Yeah, and George is just going to keep writing in new question marks so that we'll never get done. So.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's the last thing I got.
All right, sign off.
We'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye. Theon 6.